The golden age of America begins right now.
The golden age of America begins right now.
Who knew Donald J. Trump was ready to preach down? His speech definitely gave prosperity gospel tease, trying his best to be prophetic, but in the end, it was a 30-minute nationalism rant. This is what Trump had to say about our education system.
And we have an education system that teaches our children to be ashamed of themselves in many cases, to hate our country despite the love that we try so desperately to provide to them.
It's the chaplain of the culture, Yale MDiv and Black Church Studies scholar. Here we mix faith, culture, and experience, and we make that whole dance. Trump is the worst baby father we have ever had as Americans, because he wants to spoil some of the kids that he know for sure is his, the ones that look like him, and act like the other kids ain't his. What I mean is that Trump's inaugural speech, which within the first 5 minutes, he was already alluding to book bans and censorship of educating our children about this country's history. It's origin story, if you will. He wants to sanitize and dilute the horrific past that involved European immigrants that came to a land that was new to them, but was home for Native people. And these immigrants, who were second and third class citizens in many cases, and in other cases, came to this land running from famine and disease, and in other cases, running from colonization of their homeland to colonize someone else's. Now, ain't that a BI? It's important to keep these historical facts in mind. The way we remember 9/11, the way we remember the Holocaust, the way we remember Pearl Harbor, we need to remember the Trail of Tears, to remember enslavement, to remember Jim Crow laws. A lot of blood was spilt on this land unjustly. And that is just a fact of history. And it is something to be ashamed of, absolutely. There are ancestors that you should disown and adamantly abhor. And let's not act like that guilt of disowning and making amends even is some Herculean task. We disown family members who are alive and well for way less than being a slave owner or a treacherous pirate. I know plenty of people, regardless of race, who don't speak to family members living right now and don't have a kind word for them. And it has nothing to do with them being ashamed of themselves. It's just that they know who they are and they know who they don't with. It's that simple. The biggest problem in this country is not rich kids questioning their wealth or white kids questioning their privilege. Because when my nephew was pulled over by the NYPD driving a BMW, and the officer had him, a 16-year-old at the time, sitting on the curb for 2 hours just to let him go with a simple traffic violation. He was sitting there questioning himself. Now, did I get pulled over about a turn signal? And am I really sitting on this curb for 2 hours about a turn signal? Or is it because I'm a black kid pushing a Beamer? But it's not a problem when black kids are questioning social implications of race. But it's a problem when white kids do it.
If you were a policeman and you saw a car driving 2 miles an hour, wouldn't you stop it?
I asked myself that question the first time I was stopped. Good night, sir.
I would stop it.
We have to pose the question why Trump and the extreme right want to censor and dilute education and also claim to bring back free speech. As if it went anywhere. Listen to this.
After years and years of illegal and unconstitutional federal efforts to restrict free expression, I will also sign an executive order to immediately stop all government censorship and bring back free speech to America.
Now, if censorship is bad, why is this administration so invested in censoring education? He doesn't want to censor what the collective body has to say, but he wants to censor what the collective body can learn? I just want to get this right. On one hand, you want Americans to say whatever they want, but on the other hand, you don't want Americans to learn whatever they want. So what you're saying is all you want to hear is blah, 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 me no like that. It sounds like the government wants a bunch of babbling idiots as their voting bodies, because it's dangerous to have an educated and informed collective body going to the polls, right? To be clear, like, the public school education in America sucks. Like, people in places like Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama can fully graduate from high school and be fully illiterate. Education in this country does need to be revamped, but it doesn't need to be diluted at all. It needs to be enriched. The problem is that when kids are coming to their parents and asking what kinds of people unalive Martin Luther King Jr. and what did they look like, the parents are the ones ashamed. The parents are the ones who didn't receive the depth of education in the 70s and 80s. So they're rejecting it. Like new math.
That's not the way you're supposed to do it, Dad. They want us to do it this
I don't
way.
know that way. Why would they change math? Math is math.
okay,
Math
Dad.
is math.
The problem is not the kids. Kids are resilient. The parents are stuck in their ways and afraid of changing their worldview. It's the parents that have not questioned and don't want to question their own social politic and face the overwhelming truth that Black people were and still are being unalived by people who look like them at alarming rates. Nationalism and imperialism is not going to guarantee universal health care. It's not going to provide longer terms for parental leave or provide free quality daycare and higher education for every young child and budding scholar, since you love the kids so much, Trump. The U.S. is still an enterprise, and it's driven by profit over people. We sitting up here fighting each other for the same damn $50K, while them welfare queens collected in 3 months. Everybody is either renting or house poor. There's barely any land to buy because these real estate giants come and buy it all and then rent it back to us. Last time I checked, the American dream had everything to do with home ownership. You not censoring them corporations, right? And limiting what they get to buy. Like, come on. This speech actually doesn't take on the real issues. The issues that, if resolved, would really make us as great as we seek to be. And that's all for tonight. But let me know what you think. It's a Chaplain of Culture, here to expand ideas and grind your gears. And I'll see you soon. Bye.